Yo, family, what's good? Welcome back again to another daily live stream. Hopefully, the audio is of better sound quality today. If it is a little bit different and not up to scratch, let me know. I'll make some adjustments. But as the title suggests, right now, don't fall for the trap. Right now, we are seeing a lot of headwinds, a lot of negative price action, and people are panicking. I believe a lot of this being pushed by the fact that we are seeing some continued complications with the Market Structure Bill, the Clarity Act, which, of course, we understand is definitely a key catalyst for institutional adoption, and of course, in that regard, therefore, the market's going up a lot higher as well. But we should understand that we are literally 16 days into 2026, and the markets are still holding around this kind of 30-40% pullback from the kind of all-time high and the FOMO that was being pushed in Q1 2025. We are only down 25% right now, and even all-time was down 36%. So we are sitting perfectly fine right now in the markets. We have a lot of updates to get through, which are going to be very instrumental for how the markets are going to move, and of course some Kaspa updates as well. I made a video about this yesterday about why I do believe that Q1 is going to be big. Will it be big for the entire crypto market? In my personal belief, I think it could be. I think we've got a lot of big catalysts that probably are not being talked about enough, at least not publicly. I speak about it to my VIPs already, and I'll be saying some of those stuff right now on this stream. But what we are seeing right now is, for me, a textbook, another textbook trap, bear trap, before we see the market start to make that push. And we'll get through all of that throughout this stream. So once again, family, welcome back. Hope you're doing very well this Friday, and looking forward to hopefully a chill out weekend. We've got Dimitar here first, as always, brother. Welcome back. Hope you're doing very well. Future Crypto Elite is here, as you are, as always. I think now we go to the moon, or we will go to zero. Now I think if we not go to the moon, we go to zero. I mean, it can only be either or, realistically. If we don't go to the moon, then of course we do go to zero. I'm leaning more towards the former. I do think, using those key words there, I think we go to the moon as opposed to going to zero. I think we do still see some potential headwinds and some tough times ahead. But I'm currently under the interpretation that going towards nearer end of Q1 into Q2, we'll see some volatility again, then another bit of headwinds, some maybe crisis event that causes more uncertainty, more FUD, and then we'll see the market start to rally significantly going towards year end, is my hopeful belief right now. Welcome back, Ghostly Manager, doing very well, and YouTube Blaze, yo to you too. Justin, what's going on, Kappa family? Everything's good on my end. Hope you're all doing very well. Just very busy right now, honestly. I'm trying to go through the process right now of creating another blue chip or AI document to showcase to my VIPs the assets that I'm currently looking at, that we're all currently looking at. I've mentioned it to them already, but I'm making the document now. I deep dive onto what those assets are, so we can ultimately get ahead for when, for me, it's not a matter of if, a matter of when this AI rally happens, because I think it's only a matter of time. What we are seeing in regards to the institutional sentiment around AI, all of the institutions right now, all they're talking about is having the ability to transact on chain, having the ability to send transfers at the speed of light, speed of the internet, and they can only do that with blockchain technology, but also in elements with AI agents as well to help manage portfolios and whatnot. So AI is going to be absolutely huge, and don't get me wrong, the worries around AI are very real, especially around the bubble that we're currently in, because we are in a bubble. But the belief we're going to burst is a retail belief, and it's a valid one, but the overarching institutional belief, the ones who are actually doing this right now, they don't see the bubble bursting just yet. So that's why we're capitalizing on that. And we've got our picks. I mentioned some of them already, the likes of Tau, the likes of Virtuals, the likes of Render also being one that I'm looking closely at. And there's some other ones as well that I think are also due for a very massive run up. Some highly speculative ones, but ones that I think also have a much stronger ROI, given that they do catch on. And we've seen some of them already perform 3, 4, 5, 6x's since 2026 began in the last 16 days. So we're excited to continue making gains off that and flipping our profits into stuff that we perceive more long-term holds. we've got it here for Brett as well. Good evening, my man. You're doing very, very well. Welcome back, my man. Now, as we look at the market chart, get straight into it right now, we can see this is playing out exactly as we spoke about again in yesterday's stream. We spoke about yesterday how we saw Bitcoin get rejected around the 98k level of resistance. And as a result, therefore, we are now seeing the sellers taking control of the markets, and they're sending Bitcoin back down. As a result, because we're in this kind of free zone period, or between the zones, it was, at least perceived in my belief, inevitable that we come back down to tap this upper level of support. Now, are we going to hold that? Well, let's look a little bit closely right now on the hourly time frame. You can see right now we saw that temporary dip about 5 or 6 hours ago, where we came down quite significantly around that time, probably about 1% or so in Bitcoin, tapping that 94,200 level around here. And then we saw the rebound here, and we're currently seemingly going back down to retest that level. Now, what's important to understand is that we have seen on a number of occasions Bitcoin tap this level. Back here, back in November 16th, 14th area, we saw Bitcoin tap and there find support and then bounce back up. Then we saw the first time that it lost that, we saw us come back down. And then for the last 2 months or so, we had retapped this level about 3-4 occasions, right here, right here, right here, and also right here, technically twice there, if you will. And every single time we tapped that, we got rejected. So this was evidently a very crucially important psychological level in the markets. And then, as of the 14th, 2 days ago, Bitcoin finally surpassed that critical level of resistance, soaring back up to 98k. So for me, it's entirely possible that we do lose this level again, but the fact that we made a new peak is reassuring, because as you can look, as you go back to the daily, as we look, you can still argue that we might potentially be in a downtrend with the so-called higher highs and higher lows being formed. But I would argue that that was the next higher high, and then we got a higher low here, as opposed to a lower highs and lower lows even going down. We then got the lower high here. So we've started going up again. And now we've got a peak here. So should the market continue respecting that, we should potentially, worst case for me, we'd see Bitcoin probably end up tapping this bottom level here of 92k. And then that will be probably where I start to look at taking a long-term position in Bitcoin, provided the market conditions and the fundamental news supports that theory, because it's all well and good doing technical analysis, but the fundamental is ultimately what drives the markets, especially the geopolitical tensions. You want to take into account what's happening with right now Trump in regards to this whole Greenland drama, the Venezuela drama, what's happening between America and frankly every nation, honestly speaking. That will determine if the markets will continue with more headwinds or ignore that uncertainty, that FUD, and then start pushing back upwards. So I'm anticipating right now that we either find support around 94k or potentially see continued headwinds over the weekend going down to 92, and then we'll probably start seeing a rebound, trying to push back up again to $100,000 Bitcoin. And while the FUD is still at all-time highs in my belief in the market, to reiterate again, we are down 25% right now from the all-time high peaks of 126k. I'll talk about it, as I have done numerous times. We have seen on multiple occasions Bitcoin go through a very, very long-winded corrective period. Back in 2024, for example, we saw Bitcoin correct 30% in value, 33% give or take, in the span of 6 months. Or to be more exact, that happened from March, April, May, June, July, August, 5 months. And they started seeing the rally up, and then when Trump won the election, we saw it explode. And then even when Trump was inaugurated and finally took office, we had the whole tariff stuff coming out. We saw another significant correction, or crash, if you want. Well, not even really a crash, because it happened over a long period of time, but 32% pullback in Bitcoin. It was about 3 months, 2-3 months. We found support here at 74k, and then we ran it up again. And we can go even further back in history, as we've done multiple times. Back here at the beginning of the 2021 cycle, the bull run last cycle, we saw a 30% pullback before we saw that first top. Premise being is we have seen that 30% pullback repeatedly. We've seen that again. Now we could come down further. Of course, anything is possible right now, but considering we've seen that 30% pullback, and we're still, for the most part, holding strong in the low to mid 90k region, I think people are exhausted. Definitely exhausted, but I don't believe that the markets are done for. Not at least yet. I think we've still got a lot more time, especially this year in 2026. So I think we'll find support levels very, very soon in Bitcoin, and that'll be great. If we come down more, then my personal belief, I'll be DCAing, dollar cost averaging, and buying more in the dips, because I do see a lot more stuff taking shape and coming out this year. All of my documentation, my research proves that to me, which you can find out more on the VIP. Early for $50, $49.99. You can also do for a 7-day free trial, and you get all the institutional insights, the confidential documents that the smart money are sending to their clients, and retail can't get a hold of it, but I provide that in that community alongside market analysis and trade research that you see we do in our streams anyways, but in more in depth, and also access to the portfolios and the assets that we're looking at in there, the ones that we think are going to do very, very well, and much more, trade alerts and all that sort of stuff. If you want to find out more, links down below in the description, and I hope to see you all in there. Now, if you look at Kaspa, of course, right now, very much following the momentum of Bitcoin, I'd say. Right now, Kaspa's down about 2.19%, and is exactly, once more, as I had talked about yesterday. We saw Kaspa momentarily dip within the support band, and while it did end the trading day just above it, because Bitcoin was still showing, downward momentum, we are now seeing Kaspa continue in that price action. Hence why it's currently down about 2%, valued at 4.45 cents. Now we are seeing some levels of support, which you can see levels of support within the support band, namely around here, which is why you're seeing the price kind of hover around the zone right now. There's also some more around this zone here as well, which is where Kaspa did see a rebound in its price action. So there are levels on the way down. So you might see Kaspa therefore rebound around these zones, but it's also entirely possible that we'll see Kaspa make a pushback down to the bottom support here at 4.15. Now, as I mentioned in last stream, when this price action for Kaspa played out as we had anticipated, we had spoken about the fact that Kaspa was unable to hold this level up here. So I was going to take a short position trade, which I did do, from here, and have a take profit on the way down, but the final take profit being at the top level here, which completely cashed out, as we had spoke about in real time on the stream. That played out. So now, because I'm, for the most part, in the short to medium term, still leaning a bit more bullish, I'm now looking for the next long trade setup, at least for the time being. So what I'm waiting for is seeing where Kaspa does find that support. If Kaspa finds support, let's say in and around 4.3, and then we see it make a push back up to the top here, but the momentum's not really there, I might then flip and turn back to do another short trade, coming back down here. But I do ultimately believe that there is another long trade setup for Kaspa coming soon. If you look at Kaspa right now, drawing some trend lines out, we can have a look exactly how Kaspa's chart seems to be behaving. Got that around here. And then we could draw it from around here as well. Take them up here. So I do think that we have a possibility of seeing Kaspa continue within this zone of around 5 to 4.5 cents. And then when we have that breakout of the trend line, we'll start seeing Kaspa move. I'm ultimately leaning more towards Kaspa moving upwards here as well. And that's because of all the big announcements coming to Kaspa in this quarter, in the first quarter. I mentioned, and I'm going to replay this segment of a video that I posted yesterday. It's just a snippet of the AMA, not even the AMA, sorry, the blockchain banter space that we had alongside me and Jer, aka Crypto Pumps, with Ashton and Capital, and they both confirmed some very, very huge pieces of information, which is that stablecoins will be coming to Kaspa in the first quarter, which is huge. So listen very closely here to this segment of the blockchain banter space.
I would say yes, Q1 2026 should definitely have stables on Kaspa via Casplex. This is work in progress, and this is going to be released in terms of updates to everyone as soon as we can and are allowed to. And of course, once this is being signed off and agreed, you'll see marketing campaigns, you'll see promotion from both sides, the normal stuff when a new partnership is being agreed and signed and approved by both parties.
Let me get this straight. You said you might be seeing stables on IGRA by mainnet launch.
Yeah, I was in a meeting today where we're bringing together 4 or 5 different projects to help support bridging. I mean, there would be bridge versions. Casper, just like Casper was saying, I mean, getting native ones is extremely expensive and has a massive regulatory risk associated with it, right? Like Circle and Tether and these companies they're not excited to issue their native stables on a brand new network that's untested or just a few months old or things like this. So you end up either paying for it or going through some really extensive, regulatory and compliance issues that are big hurdles. But there's a lot of really well-known teams that have already been audited, used for years, that are able to bridge tokens of any kind, including stables, from an EVM network to another EVM network. So, our meeting today and the efforts are really around just focusing on leveraging the existing trusted solutions that are well audited and well documented to accelerate bringing them on. Which I know we can't assume anything, but it sounds like everyone here, both networks, are basically going down a very similar path, in my opinion.
To answer your question, Wing Hong, no, they are not in the same house. They just both use the same background because they wanted to have the green screen background, I guess. But point being, taking away from that is we have got some very, very big developments coming in for Kaspa in particular. Stablecoins are very, very important. Stablecoins for Kaspa, in my belief, acts more so than anything else. It acts as a proof of concept, a kind of case study for external parties, be it institutions, be it builders, be it Web3 protocols, who would see stablecoins, the actual perceived form of money right now, running on top of Kaspa protocol. And in the scenario, which I believe is likely, that Kaspa stablecoins would be very, very quick, finality-wise, very cheap in regards to cost, you'd have zero downtime or bottlenecking and congestion. And also, the key part being decentralized as well. That's the POC, the proof of concept, that the institution need to see that Kaspa actually has got a very, very strong protocol for something that is very crucially important for the crypto landscape, which is stablecoins. 99%, to my knowledge, I think that's the figure, or definitely north of 98% of transactions in crypto are done with stablecoins. Especially, no, that's US-backed stablecoins, but premise being, either stablecoins are a crucial form of medium of exchange in crypto. So if a protocol can handle stablecoin transactions in a reliable, in a safe, in a cheap manner, they're going to become a much more desired platform. So stablecoin Kaspa is big for that reason alone, not to mention the extra adoption you see come from it as well, and also that the current solutions or protocols you use for stablecoin transactions tend to either be Ethereum or Tron, both of which have their shortcomings, and we know them already. But that is one big element as to why Q1 is going to be big, in particular for Kaspa, and why we don't want to get trapped right now with the overarching sentiment we have in the community, which is mainly being driven by the fact that the market structure bill has been postponed. In an anticlimactic end to what is shaping up to be a pivotal week for crypto, we've had not just the Supreme Court pull out of verdicts on Trump's tariffs, which was to be expected, to be honest, but also now we had the meeting on the market structure legislation that's meant to happen Wednesday evening that had also been stopped as well. The move came after industry frustration boiled over Wednesday afternoon amid complaints that lawmakers were ceding too much ground to banks and traditional finance, particularly on stablecoin yield and tokenization, following proposed amendment in the 278-page bill. We saw this mainly being driven by Brian Armstrong, the Coinbase CEO, who was very, very frustrated with how the developments are taking shape. Other crypto-native firms, institutions like Kraken, like Ripple, they still seem to support the amendments made, but Coinbase were not happy with it at all, and they've pulled out of helping out, if you will, with the bill. And this caused a bit of frustration and headwinds as well. That was while the market was ultimately postponed, the impact of losing Coinbase was eased by a handful of industry leaders. As we mentioned, you've got Circle, A16Z, Paradigm, Kraken, Ripple, Coin Center, and Digital Chamber, who all issued separate statements supporting this change. But Coinbase was like, we don't like this at all. We'll see what happens going forward as well. For me, this is another. I mean, the impact of how this bill finishes, how it comes up, the final write-up, is going to be very important for seeing adoption for crypto in America. If it is too rigid, too much like Mika's in Europe, that will probably it's better than having no crypto policy in my belief, but it's going to definitely hinder the level of adoption and innovation that can sprout and grow in America. You want to bring all the businesses that left America under Biden administration, you want to bring them back. So you want to have a very, very inclusive market structure for that. So we'll see how it goes forward. But the fact that it's been delayed has caused a lot of headwinds. And also the drama right now, the feud between Trump with the DOJ and Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, has also added to this uncertainty. Gold is coming down today a little bit. The metals are down a little bit, but they're still nearing their all-time highs. Silver in a similar case as well. The market is just not performing very, very well today, and we can actually see reassuring news as to why once more we shouldn't let this FUD, this trap. We shouldn't become trapped by what's happening in the markets right now. According to Trueflation, US inflation has dropped to 1.55%, which the Fed preferred, or the Fed's goal was to have 2% inflation. So if it's actually at 1.5%, like US Trueflation suggesting, then we are well within the means of where Jerome Powell wants to be. Now, I don't necessarily say I disagree or don't find this Trueflation website to be accurate. That's not what I'm saying at all. But the fact of the matter being is, I wouldn't say irrelevant, but the Fed utilized the PCE. That is that's the preferred inflation metric. So if PCE is still staying around the high 2%, then the Fed aren't going to move. If it comes down to levels like Trueflation is suggesting, then that's fantastic. We'll see what happens right now. Very unlikely we're going to be seeing rate cuts at the end of the month. Still a 94% chance of no rate cuts. We'll see how that follows going into March right now. March right now suggests there's still a 78% chance of no rate cuts. April got up a little bit higher right now, but still, right now there doesn't seem to be any immediate signs of rate cuts coming through for the first quarter going into Q2 as well. But we'll see if that changes. It depends on the macro reports as well, and also the geopolitical tensions. But be that as it may, we also do know that one big catalyst for crypto as well, another reason why we shouldn't be concerned, is that Fed Chair Jerome Powell won't be here too much longer. He will be replaced soon enough. His term ends in May, and then, as it stands right now, it looks like Donald Trump is seemingly doubling down on having Kevin Hassett to be his replacement, saying here in this clip, "You were fantastic on TV today. I actually want to keep you where you are. If I move him, these Fed guys don't talk much. I would lose you. It's a serious concern to me." So it looks like Trump does indeed want to have Hassett. We'll see if that stays true or not, because with respect, Trump changes his mind quite frequently. So we'll see if he sticks true to that closer to the time. But this is also something else to take into account. I think we'll still see some volatility and some upward momentum in the markets going more so towards the end of the first quarter. And then Q2, you'll probably see a significant amount of volatility as we'll start getting into deeper into the midterms, and Fed Chair Jerome Powell will be stepping down after that. You'll probably see more developments regarding the market structure bill. All these things that will be very, very important for how the market's going to behave. And I can only hope we don't end up seeing more negative geopolitical tensions happening around this time as well. The question, AI level 1000, are we cooked? It's to be determined. I truly don't believe so. There will be negative price action as anything. But if we look and analyze the markets and see how they're behaving right now, they are supporting these levels of resistance right now and support. And once more, while sentiment's in the bin, we are down 25% from all-time highs. That's not a lot. In the grand scheme of things, Bitcoin's corrected a lot further. In the last cycle, people were calling the market was over in March when we came down 55%, and rightly so. But look what happened, double top, peaking in November at 69,000. We came down 35-36%. This was a 55% pullback. I truly believe right now the market should extend it following the ISM, the business cycle, which right now the ISM still suggests that we are not in a period where the economy is expanding, where money is actually here. Although the M2 money supply suggests we've got a lot of money right now, so we should be going up, the business cycle right now is still in a contracting cycle. Until it's past 50, we're going to probably still see the sentiment be more so towards risk off as opposed to risk on. More so towards your safe havens, your gold, your metals, as opposed to more speculative markets, be it your stocks, your equities, and your cryptocurrencies. But I think it's going to change this year. I've got so much information and premium insights that suggest and even confirm that that's going to change this year. Documents from the likes of Grayscale, Bitwise, you got ones also from Signum Bank that suggest the 4-year cycle's over. You've got interviews from Standard Chartered Bank talking about how Q2 or around the middle of 2026 is going to be very, very big because there's going to be a massive, massive institution and bank that's going to finally get involved in this space and cause a FOMO run for other institutions to get involved. If you want to find that information, to see what I'm talking about, I spoke about that actually in last week on Sunday's executive roundtable. If you want to get access to that roundtable that we did, check it out. You can join the VIP for 7-day free trial. And you can get for a 1-month free trial through BYDFI. You get access to all of the playback streams for all our weekly executive roundtables. You get access to all of the portfolios and the assets we're looking into, what we perceive as being very, very good for the 2026 cycle and beyond. We've also got alpha documentation, trade alerts. You also see TA analysis from our experienced trader in there, C Crypto, who will give a breakdown on the markets and how they're going as well. He does that every week as well, so you can learn a lot more, level up your understanding of the market, and make money at the same time through the VIP. Links are down below in the description, so come and check it out and effectively become a much more well-rounded and less emotional trader. Key things to help you make money in this space, because emotions is not a good thing to have at all. Good evening, guys. You're doing very, very well. And you to Crypto20, welcome back, my man. NFT Queen, welcome back, Alyssa. Hello, Just. And to all who have been a hot minute, it has been a very long time. All the info looks good for the coming months. It does look very good indeed, especially in regards to Kaspa. And actually, in regards to Kaspa, we have got another clip here that I have managed to splice up, which was an interview here from none other than Rory O'Neill, which I don't think Pumps just made the announcement just yet, but I did mention it to my VIPs. But I can say it right now, Tuesday's blockchain banter space, that will be with me and Crypto Pumps with Rory from the KRI. You might see another special guest coming on as well at the same time, but there's going to be Rory there, which is very exciting stuff. So we're going to be asking him a lot of questions. We'll make the post about it on Twitter, hopefully, if not today, tomorrow. And that'll give you time. I'll link the post in my free Discord server, and it gives you time therefore if you've got any questions you want to ask Rory or want us to ask him, then just reply on the Twitter post. But that's going to be another very, very interesting week. We had Ashton and Kaspa the last Tuesday, or Tuesday just gone, and now we've got Rory. We'll see other big guests coming on soon enough as well, I'm very, very sure, which is fantastic stuff. But one thing I'm going to be talking about as well and asking him is not just hopefully what we saw or heard, what was spoke about at this event, this presentation that happened on the 14th, so 2 days ago, in regard to DRI actively talking about Kaspa being this settlement layer, but also talking in regards to what he has said now on numerous occasions, which is to why we have not seen more big listings, be it for stablecoins or for exchanges, why we have not seen that for Kaspa. And the reason why is because we haven't got the institutional custody companies integrated with us just yet, like Copper and like Fireblocks. So listen very closely here to this segment of the interview, clips from the blockchain space with Chris and Lev, from Rory here as well. Read closely.
You need a major custody provider, and it's a major regulatory requirement. But that should, if Fireblocks integration happens, that will definitely unlock a lot of exchanges and stablecoin issuer conversations. They can be very, very meaningful conversations at that point. Fireblocks is a custody platform, and Copper is an institutional custody provider. And why these matter for stablecoin integration. So for any stablecoin to achieve meaningful adoption, it needs to be accessible where the money actually lives, and institutional money lives inside custody infrastructure. So what Fireblocks does is they provide a secure type of wallet infrastructure for institutions, and basically institutions won't touch assets that they can't custody through their existing security stacks. So I think there's about 2,000 institutions are already connected into the Fireblocks network, and Kaspa stablecoin integration into something like Fireblocks means instant access to that liquidity network. Copper have a thing called Clearloop, and Clearloop lets institutions trade on exchanges without pre-funding. So for stablecoin liquidity provision and arbitrage, which is really important for the maintenance of peg maintenance to USDT, for example, it's considered critical infrastructure. It's also used for off-chain settlement and stablecoin redemptions for large OTC type deals. Wolfie has been having conversations with them in the past, but I'm not sure what the current status is.
So looking at this, that's the reason why I am so happy that we do have Rory as a part of the kind of Kaspa community, because being an institutional arm, if you will, or industrial arm of Kaspa, he has a lot more insight that the general retail market may not know. The importance of Fireblock, the importance of Copper, the fact that some exchanges and stablecoin providers literally require them. They are a prerequisite for you to be talking and onboarding a project. Kaspa not having Fireblocks is probably a big reason why you have not seen maybe exchanges like Binance or Coinbase, or that's speculative, but it's definitely a reason why you've not seen some exchanges and some stablecoin providers on Kaspa, or they're not coming yet because they haven't got these entities, the institutions. And thankfully, it's not been a case that we've not tried. Apparently, Wolfie, not KRC20 Wolfie, but the business development Wolfie, apparently has been trying, or had tried at one point, to try and get in contact with them. So I guess my takeaway from that, or my, I guess, message in the sense is, as a community, we shouldn't necessarily be trying to reach out to, you know, your Binances or Coinbase. Kind of leave them alone. They'll do what they do. But if you really care and want to get Kaspa in and actually getting more in the eyes of institutions, whatnot, you should really be trying to approach and spread Kaspa's word and name to those entities, Copper and to Fireblocks. But that's a very, very good insight as to why Kaspa's not taken off just yet, and why we're still waiting, because we haven't got these extra arms looking at the project. But that hopefully will change in 2026, especially knowing that we do have stablecoins coming in Q1. That could also potentially be another element, another catalyst, a proof of concept, once again, to these entities that Kaspa is something that's worth onboarding, integrating. And I do believe it is as well. In other news, also taking place this first quarter, very big news, is that Kaspathon, the hackathon, has now just gone live. It looks like over 205 hackers are now on board and taking place. And it's a very great thing that you had the likes of Ezio and SmartGoo who helped build the Python SDK. We spoke about that as well on Tuesday with Ashton and Kaspa, but that's a very, very big deal because Python is the second biggest coding language as of 2025. It's used a lot by graduated students and whatnot, and a lot of big enterprises as well. Ashton confirmed this, that a lot of big institutions and enterprises actually utilize the Python as their coding stack. So having Python now integrated onto Kaspa is fantastic news, and will also make it easier and maybe even more interesting for what these hackers, these coders are going to be able to build on Kaspa. They've got, I believe, about a month and a half or so, and we'll sure be seeing some of these projects in the coming weeks as well, what's being built, and they're going to get rewarded for it as well. This is a great way to bring more adoption to Kaspa as well, to get more potentially very up and coming innovative devs who want to help bring more exposure to Kaspa as well. Maybe some more interesting projects. Of course, we really think be very careful, but it's fantastic stuff to see right now. And also interesting to see is just Michael Sutton made a little recap post to us. I think he said back last year or December 2024, talking about how the idea was speaking about back here in regards to SK, in regards to much Kaspa P2P nodes and many other elements as well. All this stuff is finally now gone from research and diagrams to actually materialize in real code. So it's only been a year, but things are now actively taking shape. About a year ago, the research post laid out the design for base ZK systems on Kaspa. Today, Max is implementing the scheme on top of ZK opcodes built by this individual here, which is great stuff here. And you can see all the recent core R&D recap in this Telegram, which is why it's so very important as well. And we've even got this post here, just showcasing kind of the contributors and the increasingly new contributions now being done with Kaspa. Kaspa Silver taking part now, shout out to him, Fresh Air, Leon, all people who are actively helping trying to improve Kaspa, which is great stuff as well. So Kaspa is doing well in the development front, and this should correlate to the adoption when the markets are in better position, because you can't expect an asset, you can't expect the markets to, or be it Kaspa in particularly, to rally and start going up in value when everything else is doing badly. You do have your niche exceptions. And saying that Kaspa did do that in 2023, 2022 in the bear cycle, it did do that, but it shouldn't be an expectation that an asset should rally against the market. At least, albeit for Kaspa, I think it will do, but not yet. You need to have more adoption, more FOMO, because FOMO still does rally the price, but the FOMO for Kaspa right now is not at a level where it should start rallying. When it comes to real adoption and use case and utility, the infrastructure is what matters. The individual look for infrastructure. That will come to Kaspa, I think, soon enough, thanks to KRI and DRI effort as well, and KEF effort as well, actually. They're also trying to seemingly get some talk with BitGo, which is the second biggest institutional custody, like just behind Coinbase as well. So you have got some seemingly massive enterprises, massive companies, and the respected crypto firms as well who are actively looking at Kaspa now, being put in contact with Kaspa now, which is great. So while Bitcoin is still showing some weakness, still trading within this band right now, because Bitcoin continues showing some headwinds over the weekend, probably rebounding off the 94K level. Long term, or even medium, or even kind of short term, I'm still bullish right now. Kaspa down 1%, ETH down 1%. Kind of respecting the zones and supports as we're seeing right now. I think we still see Kaspa. I still think I'm waiting for the long opportunity for Kaspa right now, but everything right now is playing out to our expectations, which is great stuff. Don't get trapped by the headline news, because what matters more so than headline news is the headline news. You know, they're important, but it matters also how this pairs with the fundamentals as well and the technical analysis, which is very important to know. And if you want to find out more and learn more about that, you can check out the VIP for 7-day free trial or for 1 month free trial through our BYDFI affiliate exchange. You can learn the insight from myself and see crypto, the TA elements, the market breakdown, as well as the institutional insight, what these banks are saying, and I'll even try and load one of them up right now. This is a clip and interview from Standard Chartered Bank, where they confirmed in this Blockworks. This is a very, very dated interview, truth be told. Very dated interview.
It's equities
in
now.
this interview, they confirmed, I say dated, 3 months ago. Look how many views this has got. This is the sort of research that we are posting in our community. Massive, massive alpha sources that some of it is confidential and not seen to retail. Some of it is public, but retail just don't care and look at it. It's got 130 views in 3 months. And this is a massive bombshell drop by Standard Chartered, where they confirm that we're going to see in the next, at this point now, next 3 to 6 months, because this is 3 months old now, we're going to see more institutional money getting that regulatory clarity of DeFi, and we're going to see one big bank getting into the space, going to cause FOMO for this market to start rally this year in 2026. Listen very closely.
Money market fund stuff. We have each of these weekend liquid now. We have a large push now already into tokenized equities. We will get Clarity Act, SEC guidelines. We'll work out what we can do in DeFi, what's legitimate, what can scale in DeFi. And I think this is all like in the next 6 to 9 months, actually. And so I think if we today have something like $30 billion in tokenized real-world assets outstanding, in 12 months, we're going to be at like 300 billion. So I think you're just at that acceleration point where regulation, liquidity, and others can come together, and we can move very, very quickly. So it's equities now. It will be tokenized broader funds at some stage. Like when I talk to the real money accounts, at some stage next year, one of the main ones that possibly starts with B is going to say, okay, here's like $50 billion fund, which is now all in tokenized space. And when after that, you'll get all the FOMO from all the others doing exactly the same, right? So we're just now at that tipping.
That is such a massive piece of alpha that was mentioned publicly that people just don't seem to realize. Which is why, for me, time and time again, I get so, I wouldn't say confused, but I just kind of scoff at times. I'm thinking that the FUD, I just know that people are not looking into this stuff properly. They're not researching it properly. Because that's what we're hearing. The people who are actually in the know, in the inner circles, that's what they're saying. Who are in contact with the smart money that's talking about this. And people aren't realizing, they're not taking this into account. How big this space is going to blow up. 2026 this year. What's going to take shape? There are certain catalysts and developments that need to take shape, be it the market structure bill, which is being delayed and it's not ideal, but can it still come out by summertime? Yes, it's very possible it still could come out. We have to wait and see how it unfolds, but it's still very possible. Coinbase pulling out is not ideal, but things still seem to be progressing in some manner or another. You've got that, and you've got so much other premium insights that we post. Multiple documents a week. Posting so much in there, be it generalized, AI native and focused, or even project specific stuff that we've already spoke about in our community. The sort of assets we're looking into, those projects and the insights into there all go into that community. If you want to find that information, be better prepared for what's to come, and therefore have the conviction, understanding of where the market's going to move, be it for better or for worse. If we're going up or down, then come check out the VIP. You can learn much more in there, and it's definitely worth your while. Couldn't recommend it enough. And if you don't believe me, there are free trials, so you can join free of charge, no strings attached. And if you think you think it is worth your while, then you can come sign up for longer. Otherwise, then I highly recommend it. Go check it out. Links are down below in the description. Now, in regards to some questions, real quick. Dimitar, yep, I agree. Buy the dip or deep again. Everything is good. We are going down. Everything is fine. We are perfectly fine in my belief. Smash the like button. I agree. If you enjoy the streams, the content, leave a like. Share with your friends. Subscribe for more. Cooked. We are in some troubled waters, but we've been that way for some time now, pretty much since the fourth quarter of 2025. So but it's fine. It is honestly, in my belief, fine. Dimitar, he stopped all his money, he's tired of losing money. That's completely fair enough. You're not the only one, Dimitar. Don't feel hard done by at all. We moon yet? Not yet, Wing Hong. Welcome back, though. Welcome back, Dung Knight. Yes, thoughts on Exelis? I think I've looked at it once in the past. 3.9 mil market cap, currently up 5% off the daily from the looks of things. Volumes are at 30k, so it's very, very low. Exchange listings only Mexi and Coinex, so once more, very, very small amount of exposure right now. Down 86% from launch, which happened sometime in 24 from the looks of things. The world's first block DAO with privacy, speed, scalability, and smart contracts. It started in 2021 apparently, so it just took longer to get on CMC from the looks of things. Apparently it has ZK proofs, block DAO structure. I mean, seemingly speaking, therefore, built using Rust. It just, for me, just based on the about alone, it sounds like a pretty much carbon copy of Kaspa. My understanding of what I'm looking at right now, it looks like pretty much I can't see if it's a proof of work or not. It doesn't suggest it's a proof of work or not, but it looks like a carbon copy of what Kaspa's building. The thing is, though, what Kaspa's building is, they are. It's one thing for me, and it's not a matter of me saying that Kaspa's the perfect asset, although I do believe it is. But Kaspa, they aren't building something that already exists. They're reinventing the wheel. What they're doing hasn't been done before. The building of 10 BPS, the building of, the kind of ZK elements on a proof of work like Kaspa, while retaining decentralization, is stuff that has not been done before. That's not to say, therefore, that these other projects probably can't do that ahead of them, but I think it's unlikely. And for me, the market price suggests as such. If it launched at a similar time to Kaspa, which it did, Kaspa launched in 21 as well, then how comes Kaspa took off and this one didn't? What's the difference between the two? I've not looked too much into this, but just from the about alone, I'm like, okay, so it launched the same time as Kaspa, seemed to do the exact same thing as Kaspa, at least in regards to the about. But yet Kaspa, as you look at Kaspa, is up 25,000% from launch. This is down 85% from launch. So my thoughts on it right now is I just from the about, maybe worth having on your radar and keeping an eye on it, but I personally, I'm not excited enough to really look into it and touch it. That's my personal stance on it. Kaspa has much more exchange listings. Price is significantly better as well. Volume actually doing much better as well, near 40 million today, which is great. So yeah, I personally wouldn't touch it. That's just me though. But of course, you've got to do your own research. You can try to look at it right now. It's not on here. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's what it looks like on TradingView as well. So apparently it was created in 20. So it looks 2021 created, but then it was launched on 2024. Then, for the looks of things, it's called to markets. Yeah, yeah. I'm not that excited about it. It's my personal belief. Hopefully that answers your question, Dong. Those two guys in the bottom lies in the same house. Yeah, no, I already answered that. Yeah, they're not in the same house. They just put on the same background. It's like we actually spoke about it pre-stream, just kind of joking about it. Ashton was like, I want to have the same background as Kaspa, so he went to go and find it, which is funny. What will you be wearing for your collab stream? No idea. Whatever I feel like on the day. I'm not going to wear a suit and tie, that's not a bit of me. I mean, I have a suit and tie, but, it's not that serious, right? I'll probably just wear some form of jumper and jeans or whatever. Welcome back, Octopus. Well, you're doing very, very well. Banana Republic asked, wait, Python on Kaspa? When? Yes, Python on Kaspa has been about for a little while now, actually. Ezio announced this Jan 9th, so about a week ago. And there was talks about getting Python on Kaspa in December, mid-December right now. So it's been in the works for a little bit, for a little over a month, and it was included and it's fully operational now, as of at least a week ago now. The stuff already Python, like Kaspa already, the coffee.cas website, he already kind of plug and played all the stuff from that on a Python SDK as well. So it's fully working now, which is great stuff. So that's going to be huge as well. I think a very big benefit for Kaspa as well. You can see the little video here, the starter kit for Python as well. What if Kaspa rallies against the rest of the market because the rest of the market is garbage? I mean, you can always speak in potentials and speculation, and once more, we saw this earlier, so it's not like it's an impossibility. Kaspa did all of this during one of the worst bear markets in history, did all of this when everything else was doing terribly. So Kaspa it definitely can, but as it stands right now, for me, there's no incentive for that to happen, because for Kaspa, this here was where it was the belief of this new innovative tech, Bitcoin 2.0, so this was driven also by a lot of FOMO. Around this market, FOMO was still extremely important. I mean, FOMO is always important, but the fear of missing out is what, for me, drove Kaspa's price to such a high level. You had the release of, the construction of KEF, KII. Marathon announced the mining of Kaspa as well. They've been doing so in private since September 2023. All these developments would have helped in the FOMO for Kaspa going up higher, more exchange listing as well. And then for me, Kaspa rallied too high. The FOMO therefore couldn't keep up with the actual real value of Kaspa at the time. Hence why it came down. And it has been down for so long. And it's currently down about 75 to 80% in value, which, truth be told, or honestly speaking, pretty much every crypto is down that much, if not a lot more, in the 90s. Solana came down, I think, about 90-95% in the last cycle, before making an all-time high. Solana came down and was perceived as dead by everybody, coming down 95%, and then it exploded. So Kaspa could still come down further, truth be told. If Solana can come back, for me, Kaspa most definitely could come back as well. But right now, the market, as of end of 2021, going into this new cycle, FOMO was still a very, very big driving factor. That's why memes were so big. That's why the original air bubble was so big as well, because FOMO is what mattered. Now, with institutions actually getting involved in the space, for me, FOMO hasn't got as much weight as it did once beforehand. Now what matters is actual infrastructure. What is actually being built, if it actually can be adopted and utilized. That's why Solana's getting adopted and Ethereum's getting adopted, because those projects have got either the interoperability needed, like Ethereum, or the scalability that Solana has. I'm not saying they're the best. I'm just saying they have these already implemented that institutions can now start utilizing. That's why they're being spoken about so much. Kaspa has better infrastructure, in my belief, but it's not at the level right now where it's being looked at least not in that capacity that those two are looking at, because they're older, they've been battle tested more so. They're also being proven not to be great, but they're battle tested. But once Kaspa gets the eyes on, it will definitely start rallying. Once institutions, that's why I think it's so important we get proof of, when we get stablecoins. Once we get stablecoins, it's going to be so very important, because stablecoins will be the proof of concept of Kaspa that is actually working and what the institutions are actually looking for. And then you might see that price will start rallying because the demand for Kaspa starts exploding. But right now, you need the smart contracts, you need the stablecoins. That's what the institutions look for. They look for smart contract stablecoins right now. Kaspa's not got either. Well, it's got Cashback, but You want to see more developers of Kaspa come out. You want to see ICO come out. You want to see VPOX come out. You want to see stablecoins come out. All these things will matter significantly for Kaspa's value into the later half of the cycle. Apparently, Wallet 1 is down by $68 million yet. Just bought another 38 million Kaspa. Learn how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we can have a quick look at Kaspa Lens. Because Kaspa Lens, I think, is the one that does show the average value. Average entry is around 10. So yeah, it's around 10 cents. It's got 1.33 billion, which equates to, I look at Kaspa Stream. Addresses. So equating to about, yeah, so about 60 billion. This is about $60 million that is totally accumulated for Kaspa. Of course, it's different values. You've got to keep that in mind. It's not done at an average understanding of the price, just how much it costs right now. But if you were just take it in that sense, it's got 60 million Kaspa right now. Its average is 10 cents. Kaspa right now is below 5 cents. So they actually have about 20. They've actually, they have lost a significant amount of capital. Yeah, they're still buying more. So yeah, I agree, Octopus. Welcome back, Don. I have my Kaspa bag large, but I also have a large Quay bag, hoping to see Quay pump before Kaspa, then build up my Kaspa bag. Ultimately, I'm a Kaspa guy, but I'm pretty sure Quay is going to pump. I'm aware of Quay. Should be told, I don't hold it. Quay has done some significant pumps in 2026. I didn't even realize that. It's done incredible. It pumped about 4x in value from the beginning of this year. So Quay has done fantastic. So shout out to those who were holding Quay or are holding Quay. Of course, it is still, if you look at Quay on CMC, still very, very small asset. It's at 10 cents right now, 1.39 million market cap, and it's currently up about 17% from launch. But if you got in the dip here and you made this gain, then fantastic. We do know that it's a proof of work, at least, from what we have heard about it, the proof of work. I haven't got enough information or insight into Quay, so I'd have to look into it more to see if it's a worthwhile investment. But the fact that you've made gains on that, brother, is fantastic. So keep it up, Don. And right now, it's possible maybe you see Quay pump preemptively beforehand, and then if you choose to, you can cycle that into Kaspa, which I think has the stronger longevity and the business path, the protocol path to make it do a lot better further forward. But Quay has done fantastic, so that's huge stuff there. I've been saying we are going back to 4.1 cents. I mean, I don't disagree. It's exactly what we spoke. That's what I said at near the beginning of the stream. That right now we're seeing Kaspa dip into the support band again. We have got levels of support within the band, as you would do. You've got levels around here. You've got levels around here. You've got levels also, right at the bottom here at 4.1. I think it's entirely possible we see Kaspa come back down to 4.1 again and find support there. If we are still going to respect the current market structure, which once more if we highlight that, we went from having lower highs and lower lows on the way down. We're not going to take that into account because that's a bit of an anomaly. But even then, you had these lower highs and lower lows all the way down, and then you had the first kind of push above of here. You had a higher high, and this was a higher low as well. So right now, this could be the start of a kind of a pullback. Of course, this does look therefore we're going back to another low, but this could just be the kind of ABC corrective path going upwards. We'll have to wait and see. But I think right now we are still probably on track for 4.1 cents. And if we go to 4.1 cents, I'll probably once more again announcing the whole general market, the fundamental, the macro, and the TA, taking that all into account, because that's what I do to make my trades and make my money. Once taken into account, I'm looking for a long trade in Kaspa. It's a very good possibility. I'm looking for 4.1 cents entry in Kaspa, a long, and then seeing it, potentially return to that support, that resistance here, which would be a basically 10% gain, which is with 10x leverage at 100%. So a 2x potential there if you had 10x leverage. Of course, do your own research and trading discretion and have your stop losses involved as well. Might even go a little bit higher as well. It depends on the market. Bitcoin could potentially make a return to 100k. If Bitcoin can hold 94k, which is a very, very crucial level of support, a psychological level, then we could see Bitcoin retest here on a few occasions and then push into this zone, and then 100k is just on the doorstep. If you want to find out more, get ahead of the game, deeper insights, institutional insights as well, highly recommend checking out the VIP, join for the free trials, see if it's worth your while, and then sign up long term. Hopefully once we prove to ourselves that it is worth the money. Built from scratch. This is built from scratch. I mean, yeah, pretty much. Welcome back, Greg. You're doing very, very well. We'll start the stream, but happy Friday. Indeed, man. Welcome back. Hope you're doing very, very well. The PG, welcome back. It's going to be Scott Besson, not Hassan. I don't know. I don't see how that is feasibly possible, because he is the Treasury Secretary and you can't be that and the Fed unless he gives up his role. But you can't be the Treasury Secretary and the Fed chair. You can't. You shouldn't be able to. You can't. So unless he gives up his role and becomes the Fed chair, that won't happen. Right now, I mean, from what we can see right now, it seems to be all the talk about it being Hassett. Although I think PG might be the one who put that poly market bet down on it being Besson. And I mean, if you're right, you're right, you know. But I just don't see how it would happen, because he can't. You know, for position-wise, he can't be the Treasury Secretary and the Fed chair. Stablecoins and Kaspa rails are the key. I completely agree, RB. Completely agree. That's why I think this is so very important. Why what Ashton and Capital spoke about here is so big. Why I think it's going to be a big catalyst for Kaspa as well. And this first quarter will set the foundation for me for where Kaspa is going to rally into Q26. And it's not just Kaspa. There'll be many assets that perform very, very well. So Beck's seen a lot of strength again, which is great. Is currently hitting this level of resistance here, which he has seen all the way back here. So we'll see if he can surpass that in Zebek right now. But Zebek performing quite well right now, up 4%. Ondu's up about 1%. There's going to be a lot of good winners in this cycle. AI is for me some one market I'm looking very closely. I'm making a document about that right now. And we'll see where the markets go from here. With that being said, family, that now does conclude today's Crypto Kaspa live stream. If you enjoyed it, as always, leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. Check out the socials, the Twitter, the free Discord server to chill, chat, and learn more about Crypto and Kaspa, and also as a stepping stone towards the VIP, where join the free trials, utilize the discounts and opportunities to go in there and learn a lot more there as well. This is going to be really, really important for you to help level up and understand the markets more, so getting the full coverage of what's happening right now and be prepared for how the market's going to move. James Allen put a new one, so he made a new video. Okay, we'll have a look at that as well in our time off. But yeah, check all the stuff out. As always, links are down below in the description. And that being said, family, don't let the trap fool you. Don't be emotional, political. Have a great day, good evening, and good night. And I'll see you all